the menace of S-men in Nigeria has become a warfare, as we continuously hear that the clash between them and Nigeria youth. We hear one at Delta State in Abraka area, and the new one is about the one that happened in Benue and Enugu, where the youth clash with the S-men. What do you think is really going on? This S-men is like they really mean business.
Yes, they really mean business, because it was they suspected a massive movement of Fulani towards the Enugu Benue boundaries, particularly somewhere in Apa, issues, and one other community too, and immediately the Benue youth elected the Enugu youth, and there was this joint alliance, and they moved towards that particular boundary between Benue and Enugu state. And from what we are gathering, it was a massive, direct engagement, direct attack. No retreat, no surrender, according to those youth. From the report we are getting from that environment, there was massive, crunch on Fulani herdsmen there, Boko Haram herdsmen, from the news we are getting from there. I think we are still waiting for the Benue governor, alliance or wherever, to make a statement towards that successful, reprisal attack, or to chase Fulani herdsmen completely from that community. And we are still waiting to hear from the governor of the Enugu state on that successive, launching of massive attack on these Boko Haram bandits, within those Enugu state boundaries, particularly somewhere along a place called Apa. It was massive. I said the forest is on fire now. As I speak to you, the entire community, youth, the Benue community youth, they are saying enough is enough. They can now come out and defend themselves. We saw what is happening, around the issue of Fulani herdsmen. It is becoming a life-threatening extermination of indigenous people in their respective communities. And I learned, that assault was led by one of the Boko Haram kingpin, one of the bandits that Nigerians are looking for, and nobody knows whether he actually died in that attack, because they said after that attack, they are going to have a full presence in those boundaries and Enugu. But thank God they never waited for the Nigerian army, they never waited for Nigerian police, they never waited for any government. The alliance, of Enugu and Benue youth was something to be celebrated. According to the report, in fact, the Boko Haram, all of them currently on the run, because everything that has to do with their camps, their sites, their network, was totally eliminated, burnt by these angry youth who can no longer tolerate the continued killing of their people seamlessly.
And what do you think is lead to this successful reprisal attack? I mean, how do you think these people, these youth, they were able to repel the attack of Fulani? Have they heard that they are coming, then they fortify themselves, or they have been always prepared? What do you think is lead to this successful?
I think from what we gathered, that 50% of this youthful alliance with Benue and Enugu youth. Okay. The other 50 are just youths who have deep reservation and who are ready to defend their community. The other one is mostly hunters, who would have elected these youths, on what the build-up, to that invasion in the Enugu Benue boundary, and that was how they quickly, mobilized themselves and lay a proper ambush. I doubt whether that man because it was a successful ambush, and the bandits, the Boko Haram jihadists within that boundary, who are trying to see how they are going to invade Enugu. You know that a few months ago also they threaten Enugu. They also threaten Port Harcourt. And that they are coming to Port Harcourt. And Enugu. And I think that was the beginning of that mission from that particular sect, jihadists. But they met their death. Because of the bravery of those youths.
How brave is this Fulani to the extent that they will even be telling you that we are coming? But unfortunately, as they promised, Nigeria army will not be able to prepare for them, and they will come out, carry their operation successfully, and go back to where they are coming from. The way it's happened at Yeltiwa, what do you think is happened at Yeltiwa? Why they cannot repel the attack? And people of Benue, that particular community in Benue and Enugu, they were successfully, repelled the attack.
Yes, if you look at the distance in Yeltiwa, and where that's been reported within the boundaries of Idoma, Eziago, our community, and other community, upper community, and other, you see they have common boundaries, with the people of Enugu. It's just like Ogun State and Idiroko or Deraba. Let me just put it that way, and Benin Republic. Those communities were close to those boundaries. They have similar boundaries. That was what the nature of that place. But let me give you an insight. That the Nigerian army, the DSS, the Nigerian army was told about this invasion in Yeletiwa in Benue State. Yes, they got the information. If an ordinary citizen can get access to kind of information that in social and social day, the Fulani, the bandits are coming, they are going to attack, and the message was passed to the authorities, and they couldn't do anything until over 200 million people were killed in Yeletiwa. So what does the excess of asking them or telling them, even if they know, maybe they will pretend as if they've not had, because the real thing, they are looking for the real thing. And what is the real thing? These are something we are talking about, that Nigeria, is falling into the hands of, Islam, movement. And you can see what the Northern elders are saying recently, that the jihadists have overpowered Nigerian military. Waiting for what else is expected from them. What they are trying to tell people now is that, defend yourself. So, in quick response, and this has been happening within those boundaries and all that. But this one, we are coming, was well organized. They have targeted what they want to do at the end of the day. And unfortunately, they didn't know that they will be taught such a big lesson in APA and local government here I think they have attacked that Amoku area before or something like, if I can.
Okay, the place has been attacked before.
Yes.
So they now prepare.
Yes. So this one, they were coming to even their foundation finally and claim that they have taken over that place. But unfortunately for them, it didn't work as they think. So it was a very big blow for them, and we are suspecting that that person would have been killed by the forces of those youths and hunters. We don't want to say whether ESN was actually involved in that operation, because it was well coordinated. They never expected it coming. They never saw it coming. There was massive surveillance, and there was exchange of intelligence by these youths, and that was a very successful, onslaught against the Boko Haram.
You made mention of this Boko Haram that you just made mention, make me scared, because when you mention Boko Haram, you talk about the northeast alone. But when you now constantly mention Boko Haram attacking a place like Benue, between Benue and Enugu, have you been so encroached with the Boko Haram to that extent that they have a country to come and attack them in that place?
Yes, it's very clear. We can call them names, but they are factored into one agenda. Whether Boko Haram, Lakarawa, jihadis, ICC, whatever, ISWAP, bandits, whatever you can call them. We have only one name for them. They are jihadis. They are offshoot of Boko Haram, and they are working towards one agenda. that is the truth. And what is the agenda? It is total conquest, you know. And now they are having this friction, you know, and the thing is spreading.
Like synergy.
Yes, people are running away from their communities in Benue. You know, like the man that was saying, you know, he said they have knowledge and of the invasion, and people have to leave. Most people, when they leave, they don't come back. And they knew that there's a massive exodus of Benue people to the Enugu, and they felt that okay, we need to go there again and you know deal with them in Enugu there, even though the governor has Peter Mba, you know, has not been able to prove anything, have not been able to say anything, you know, even in Anambra State, you know, we're seeing these governors, I don't know actually what is the problem, but I think to an extent, the hunters and the youth were able to align, join forces together. Powerful forces, you know, though it has been speculated that ESN experts, operatives, you know, might have been behind the operation, and it was well coordinated. I'm sure the news is all over the place now.
Before we go, it's like, is government protecting these people? Because there is one video that's worrying me. Nigeria armor tank was parked in the bush, and we saw some people with the jalabia. We cannot identify them, whether they are soldier, whether they are police, with the AK-47 across their neck. And we saw military officer coming out from that Nigeria, vehicle. People are wondering, what is the relationship between cat and mouse inside the house? What is happening?
You saw it, that's how funny Nigeria is, because if it was to be IPOB members, they would have got them down. If we are to be Igbo people, they would have got them down. If to have been Yoruba youth, you know, that are seeking for the self-determination, they would have shot them. It tells you that the Nigerian military are tired, you know, they are seeking for peace. What you saw there, they went to go and beg them, you know, not to be stopped killing them, killing the Nigerian army. That's what they went there to. You saw the kingpin there. It was not, the Nigerian army was not able to arrest him. Instead, you can see the synergy, you can see the festive, you can see the begging, you can see the mabinu, you can see all the apology, you can see the weakness, the conquest of the military in that meeting. You can see the solid state of the Nigerian security. So what else?
So to the extent that it's like Nigeria army is even working for them now. In a particular community in Edo State, Nigeria army is taking over some community, claiming the land that it was Letoba that gave it to them, now establishing camp for Fulani.
That is what it is, you know. Those guys you are seeing was one of the reasons why the Hanese leader and the late Ayo Adebanjo was insisting that there shouldn't be anything that has to do with the repentant Boko Haram in the Nigerian army. So those they flooded in the Nigerian army are those they deployed in the southern part of the country. Under these guys, they are Nigerian military, and they are busy opening communities for the Fulani invasion. You can see the tragedy now. You can see the systematic, you know, conquest. They are using strategic military structures across the nation to achieve. So by the time the military go there and you see them in the military, they end up chasing those communities, especially those who are, you know, standing against the jihadist attack, who are withstanding the forces of the enemy of the indigenous people. That is it. So you can see them, you know, retaliating. Look at it's everywhere. Look at the one in Abraka. You know, look at the one they caught in somewhere. I think it should be in Imo State. You know, where they loaded thousands of Boko Haram inside one truck, seal it. They sealed it with key. You will think it is cement that is inside. But the intelligence spread, and ESN stepped into action and was able to stop the trailer. And when they unlock it, come and see thousands in their numbers.
When you are not animal, put somebody like a sardine inside trailer.
And the way they were asking
so
them,
dreaded.
They said they are foot soldiers. Foot soldiers, where are you heading to? That is what that Nigerian intelligence could not be able to solve. Nigerian intelligence does not know anything. But if it will be ordinary people on the street going about their business, you see them chasing them up and down. The police will be chasing people who are innocent up and down. But look at it.
Very, very
so
unfortunate.
the people have come to realize that they need to take their own destiny, and anybody that has to wear Nigerian military, whatever it is, will no longer be trusted in the eastern part of the country. I am telling you that.
Thank you very much.